Hey everybody, it's Carrie Hoffmeister with Carry On Abundant TV, and today I have Caleb and Kelsey Yetten from The Rock Music. Caleb and Kelsey, thanks so much for chatting with me today.
Yeah, thanks for having us, Carrie.
I think it's so funny to say The Rock Music because people are probably like, The Rock Music, like what is that?
Right.
But we've actually had Steel Crossway on the show. I don't know if the viewers will remember, but it was probably about a year ago, and he was so wonderful to have on. We had the best time. But I'm so excited to have Caleb and Kelsey on the show. They have an incredible story that they're going to share and a new EP. But we all know that we like to start off the show with what we call Carry On the Questions, because the show is called Carry On. But since you two are married, we are going to do questions between the two of you of who said or who is. So
Okay.
you'll have to
Love it.
pick between who is most likely, I guess. Okay.
Sounds good.
Okay.
All right. Who said I love you first?
I think that was me.
Yeah, I was gonna say you.
Was this a long time ago?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. 17 years ago.
Okay. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Been a while.
Who is more likely to start an argument?
Mm,
Probably me too.
maybe equal.
Really? Okay.
We're both good at
Yeah.
that.
I like a hearty debate. Yeah. So,
Oh, that's good. Who gives better gifts?
Kelsey. No.
I
Kelsey
bet
does.
you.
Oh, you said each other. That's good.
Yeah.
Who is more likely to get lost?
Me, for sure.
Yeah.
He didn't even point, so that's
Yeah, he's
smart
like,
man. Who is most likely to leave laundry on the floor?
Me. Definitely me. Yeah.
Who eats the most junk food?
Mm, Probably a tie.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Depends.
We
Yeah.
both have our moments.
Yeah.
Who is the most stubborn?
Ooh, that's
I'm pretty stubborn.
we both are really stubborn again.
Yeah. The Lord's helped us in
Yes.
the years of
For sure.
working through how stubborn we are and letting
Amen.
go of our pride. And so,
Yep. Who is the better cook?
Kelsey, she's a great cook. I don't cook much.
No.
No,
Who spends all the money?
probably me too.
I'd say
Really?
it's about even.
Yeah.
I don't
Man,
know.
I have a lot of hobbies. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Who has the craziest family?
It's hard to say.
She just looked at
I'm on
you.
both sides.
Yeah, there's always unique family
Yeah.
dynamics on all sides.
Yes.
Yeah, a lot of family travel this year. Seeing extended family even really. Yeah, we have it on both sides, yeah.
Yeah.
We love them.
Same.
They're
Yep.
They're amazing.
Same. Okay, last one. Who is more likely to get a traffic ticket?
Probably me.
I love how
He's
Caleb,
a really good driver, so.
I love how he just did not answer when it was you. And
Yes.
smart
Let me
man.
just admit it.
Yeah, smart man. You've learned a lot over the years, so that's good.
Yeah.
Well, Caleb and Kelsey, it's so good to have you on. I'm going to let you guys just kind of go ahead and just talk a little bit about background. Let's start with how you guys met. And was music always a passion of yours? And how did you get into the rock music with the Rock Church?
Yeah. So we met in 2007 through our church. Again, the rock music, you mentioned the name, it's not that unique or creative. Our church is called the Rock Church that we met here in Utah. Kelsey moved to Utah to help start the church with her family when she was a child, and I joined the church a few years later. But we met there, and she was already playing music at the church in like the youth band. I was going to a different church playing in a youth band there. And so pretty early on, the connection of music was there, definitely. I actually attended the church before meeting her and saw her leading worship and was right away like, I want to marry a woman like that.
Aw.
Yeah, God was working even in that from the first time I saw her leading worship. And she's a talented songwriter and singer and worship leader. And so right away I was drawn to this amazing woman that was loving Jesus and loving the local church and playing music. And so we met, yeah, early 2007. You can tell when we met your memories of it, because you always have fun memories that day.
Oh, yeah, so the first time we actually met was at we had like a college event that we were doing ultimate frisbee. And so I remember seeing him there, and it just stood out to me that he was wearing all white. Like he had a white baseball cap, shirt, pants, shoes. Like he denies that,
I
but
think it
that's
was.
what I remember. And I was like, oh, interesting choice to play sports,
Oh.
but it drew me in. So
It worked.
Yeah.
it did.
Yeah, and then Kelsey was the one that actually made the first move, though, to have us start communicating, because she reached out to a friend of ours and was like, "Hey, do you have Caleb's number? I want to send him some Bible verses."
Which was true. I was sending out Bible verses to friends, but I wanted to expand my circle to include him. So.
Yeah. Back in the day, our flip phones,
Yes.
pre-iPhone, just sending Bible verses, and
Yes.
it's like the modern day, like sliding into DMs, like I'm
I
gonna
love it.
reach
That's
out
so
using
good.
Bible verses.
Yeah.
So if there's
yeah,
any young people watching, just wear all white to a sports event. You're in.
Yeah, I guess so.
You're
Yeah.
in.
That's the key. And then deny it. But yeah, so we met. We were pretty young, right out of high school. I was right out of high school. She's a year older than me, so she was doing college ministry and young adult ministry at our church. And I was kind of I had come out of a mess right out of high school and was trying to figure things out. And she was actually moving with her family again to a part of town about 45 minutes away to start another location of our church. And so we met right away. There was a connection and attraction there, but we both kind of realized it wasn't the right time. So we stayed friends, and my best friend was moving down there with that church plant. So it was a good excuse for me to go see Kelsey and see my best friend and hang out in the church there. But we just started getting to know each other better. And about a year and a half later, or maybe a year later, started dating. And then a year after that, we got married. And so that was now 15 years ago that we've been married. So
Wow. That's awesome. And you guys have an EP that came out October 4th, which is No One Knows Me Like You, which is a 5-song EP that you two are featured on. And this actually kind of came about through a season of life that you guys went through. Kelsey, did you want to kind of share with us what led to that?
Yeah. So, yeah, it has been a difficult season. I lost my mom about almost coming up on a year now, last December. And of course, it was cancer, and so she was sick for about a year and a half before that. So definitely worship and song and music has been really close to my heart to be able to mourn and grieve and work through a lot of emotions and pain. And it's amazing just worshiping the Lord and the truths of our future, like the hope that I have that my mom is in heaven and I get to go spend eternity with Jesus and with my mom is incredible and sustaining in the midst of it. So, and my mom loved singing, loved worship music. She loved the Lord so much. And so I think that passion is definitely was definitely given to both of us, just seeing her life and the way she did that even when she was sick and everything. And so yeah, it's been really meaningful to have these songs that just speak of the goodness of God and how he works in our lives and how incredible he is even in the midst, and how near he is and how personal he is when you feel alone in something like that, when you lose somebody that you're so close to. So
I'm so sorry for your loss. I can totally relate. I lost my mom in April, and she had been sick for years. My stepdad had to retire to take care of her full time. She had a lot of health issues. And so it's so hard to see a parent in that state as a child. And I mean, we're adults, but we still consider ourselves, we're their child. So
Yeah.
it's so hard. And there's so many people around me that are grieving, whether they've lost a spouse or a parent or a child or just a coworker. And I've had people reach out wanting to talk about this topic. So I was curious. I know that you mentioned you have music and writing that has kind of helped you grieve through that process, but have you found anything else that has helped you kind of grieve her?
Yeah, I think for me, a lot of times, it hits you at different times and different seasons. And I kind of notice when I can feel it kind of bubbling up, and I know that I just need to take the time to release and really work through whatever memory it is that is coming about. A lot of times I'll go on a walk or something like that and just process, cry, pray, listen to worship music, just say the things that are there, because I think releasing some of those thoughts is really helpful to just be able to release those thoughts to the Lord, the things that don't feel right, or the good things that about my mom and the things I miss. And Caleb has been an amazing support, always willing to listen, always willing to give me space too, which is part of a way that I feel like I process. And then just being able to know he's really good, that it just comes on you at any time, and he's just very understanding of that. And so that's been a huge support to me. But I think definitely just when it's coming up, even though it is painful, and you're in some ways, my personality, I'm like, I don't want to engage in this, I don't want to deal with this. But I notice if I don't, it just keeps escalating. And so it's just better for me to take time and go think through those thoughts and go process it, and bring it before the Lord. And it's helped my heart little by little to work through the different phases of grief.
What is something that you feel that you've learned about God through this trial?
Mm. I feel like my whole relationship with the Lord has become just more real and more genuine in a lot of ways, because his promises have just come alive from the pages of the Bible. It's like, oh, you tell me that one day there will not be pain and grief and I can be with you forever. And I think it's deepened my understanding of how the Lord does understand that it is painful here, and that death is not right. Death is not, you know, even on earth, the Lord, when Jesus was here, he grieved with us in the pain of loss, and he understood. And so just knowing that he has experienced that, Jesus was a man of many sorrows, and understanding that, just understanding how intimate he really is with us, just that he sees all of this, and he has promised better for us, even though we don't deserve it in any way. And yet he came and died so that we could have eternal peace with him in heaven. And I think for me, that has been the sustaining hope. I think without that, I would just feel lost. And I think it's just helped me understand, like, the Lord has a plan in all of this. Like, reading through his word, like he's known these things would happen. He knows these things wouldn't land right, but he is the creator, and he has a plan that I don't understand, and I don't understand the timeline, but that I can trust him in. So
Yeah, that's so good. It makes you, so I've actually lost both parents now at this point in my life. And
Sorry.
so, thank you. You're so right. It's made me wonder, I don't know how I would be able to go through this without knowing Jesus and out having that promise of heaven, because if you don't have that promise of heaven, you can't have that peace of knowing you're going to see them again and knowing that there's going to be no pain one day. And so thank you for sharing that. That's so true. And there's so many people that are hurting and just going through grief. And it's so hard for us all to say one thing that works because everybody grieves differently.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
And the relationships are different. And there's just so many different things. So I appreciate you sharing that. And I'm so sorry for what you both have gone through. But I have listened to your EP, No One Knows Me Like You, and it's absolutely beautiful. It's given me so many different vibes. You'll probably laugh at this, but there's, I think it was You're Beautiful, which gave me Coldplay vibes. And these are not religious things that it gave me, but the
Sure.
sounds were
Great.
beautiful.
Yeah.
The
Love it.
like,
Aw.
one
Thank
was
you.
like an Owl City vibe, but it was really good. I loved it. So I thought it would be fun to kind of go through each song for you to kind of
Yeah.
share. If I'm not mistaken, is it a few of these you've written and a few you covered?
Mhm.
A
Yep.
couple? Okay.
Yep.
So I thought we would go through and you can just kind of tell us a little bit about the process behind that song and maybe your
Sure.
favorite thing about it.
Sure.
So the first one is No One Knows Me Like You, which Caleb, you feature on that one.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's a song I co-wrote last July, a year ago, July, with a guy named Joel Vaughn in Nashville and with Steele Crosswhite of the Rock Music. We co-wrote that together in Nashville. It was a great write, processing obviously a lot of things that were going on in our lives. Jeannie, Kelsey's mom, was a dear friend to me, that we were pretty similar in personality and thought process, and even just early on in our friendship and relationship of growing as a family was pretty crucial in like helping me work through some shame and guilt and feelings of like and just showing me grace. Honestly, she was such a gracious woman that had really embraced that. And but it's a thing in my life that I carry a lot of shame, a lot of guilt, a lot of processing things popping up in my head, and even from childhood or as a young adult, and just the devil beating me up in things. And so
Mm-hmm.
um, it was processing that kind of feeling. There was also a lot of feelings of feeling misunderstood and unknown. I'm pretty awkward at times, I feel, and in relationship with people even that I love, or my wife, or Steele, or my closest friends, my co-pastors, there can be like a misunderstanding. And so I feel at times like, does anybody know me? Um, do they understand me? And
Mm.
so I had this long list of things that I just kind of written down in a stream of thought on a Word document, and Joel, that new friend, kind of helped process those things and align them into verses. And so we just talked about God understanding my guilt and my shame and my fear and my doubt and my grief in that season of grieving and loss and processing those things. God knows all those things about me, and yet he loves me the same. He knows my shame, he knows my sin, and he's covered it with grace. He knows my awkwardness and my misunderstanding, and he loves me more than anyone else. And so there was just a real um, understanding in the moment. There's the bridge talks about God giving me a home, that he understands me. He's a God of
Mm-hmm.
mercy, better than anything I could ever come to understand. He is better than that. And so finding a home and a place and a meaning and understanding in him, that he knows me, just brings rest. And so that's kind of what that song is about, of just God taking my shame, calling me by name, giving me a relationship with him. And so it's been a fun one to sing. And we recorded it with Carter Frage in Nashville. That was a fun time, a sweet recording session, and a really new experience for us. That was a lot of fun. And so we're really happy with how that song turned out. It's unique from what we're used to, usually writing and recording. And so there's a different vibe, which we've
Mm-hmm.
enjoyed a lot. So
Yeah, it's a beautiful song. I loved it.
thank you.
The next one, I believe, is a cover, which is All
Mhm.
Hail King Jesus. So, what stood
Mhm.
out about that song that made you want to cover it and put it on the EP?
Yeah, that's one of my favorite songs, and since It came out, I think, 2017. I remember the first time I listened to that. It's Jeremy Riddle, his version of it, and just getting goosebumps for like the entire song and just listening to it over and over. So that was kind of a personal just worship song for a lot of years before we ever even played it at church, or tried to cover it. It was just a beautiful song just between me and the Lord that I
Hmm.
listen to and weep and just thank the Lord for his grace. And so we finally started playing it at church and kind of just made our own unique version. I like indie rock and kind of alt rock from maybe the early 2000s to 2010. That's kind of my vibe of music. And so I tried to really make the song stand on its own as
Hmm.
Jeremy wrote it so beautifully, but also bring some uh, indie rock vibes. And so we started playing it, and our church really uh, loved it, and it's kind of been an anthem of our church over the last few years. Whenever we sing it, we just kind of move off the mic and let the church
Hmm.
sing really loud. And so it's a real connection for them. And we thought it would be encouraging for us to record it and fun, but also encouragement for the church to have our version available for them to listen to and sing to during the week. So that's kind of how that song came about.
Oh, I love
Recording
that.
it.
That's awesome. And the next one, I believe you did co-write, which was Holy Savior.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell us a little bit about that one?
Yeah. I'll let Kelsey share kind of the lyrics, but that's actually the first song we ever wrote together
Oh.
in 2009, in our first months of marriage. We had a tiny little studio apartment in Provo, Utah, where we were helping this little church plant and figuring out marriage. It was like 400 square feet. Tiny little place. I have this vivid memory. We would sit on our bed and use an ironing board as our table. It was like the tiniest little uh, apartment. The kitchen was next to the bed, and
Oh, I
so
love
we spent a
that.
lot of yeah, it was sweet. And we were working through our stubbornness and pride that we talked about earlier, and so uh, but Kelsey had some lyrics, and we just kind of sat down on that bed, our kitchen table, as well, if you will, and just put some chords to it and started working out the melody. And let you speak to the lyrics.
Yeah, it's really just a prayer, I think, just in a song. And I think just talking about how intimate Jesus is with us, that he, he takes our hand and he just walks us through all the different things that we go through. And then our response is just, wow, you are perfect. You are set apart. Like your name alone is enough. And so, and just even knowing he's present with us. Uh, and so, yeah, that's kind of what the song is about, and just kind of a personal prayer to pray to the Lord.
The next one, You're Beautiful, which is also a cover. So again,
Mhm.
what made that one kind of stand out
Yeah.
to put on the EP, which I love,
Yeah.
by the way.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I would love that song. Been again singing it for years as a church. Um, and I think we wanted to again make a version of our own to encourage the church, for them to sing, because a lot of times our music, our first, obviously Jesus is the first person we make the music for, but secondly we definitely try to have our church, our local church in mind of what will
Hmm.
encourage them, what will excite them. And so that was a thought process there. And then the theme of the songs, I can remember so many times singing that song with Kelsey's mom in the audience. I can picture it, even just her singing. And as we were, it just seemed like a natural fit. It wasn't even a conscious decision, but that song speaks of heaven at the end of one day we will sing before the Lord in heaven without any pain or tears. We'll come together and tell him he's beautiful. And
Mm.
it just seemed like a natural fit again to add to these collections of songs. And yeah, so that's a favorite of mine, a worship song for a long time. Love Phil Wickham. And so it was fun to be able to record it. And that one, and even All Hail, I think we're just looking back sweet time even to remember Jeannie with. We shared the recording of All Hail King Jesus actually while she was on her deathbed, and we're
Mm.
able to share that song with her, and that's just it's a sweet memory of her. She was always so encouraging with our music, and so kind, and sang along, and to be able to share that with her, and we actually sang that song at her celebration of life, to just look to Jesus even in the midst of grief. And I think those two cover songs, though they're not ours, are um, just speak of heaven and singing to him and praising him
Hmm.
forever. And that's our true purpose. That's been something that we've thought about in this time, is what are we giving our life to in the midst of death, that really makes thinking about death, that really makes you think about what am I living for. And that's come to the surface a lot. So I think those two cover songs bring that into clarity, a clear view, really, for my life at least.
That's so beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. The last one you guys wrote, which is called Revolution Medicine. Can you tell us about that one?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love that one. Again, that's a song Kelsey wrote years ago. She actually wrote it. We thought about it like a couple months before we even met. So she wrote it in 2007, and I've always wanted to record that song. We've done like subpar recordings of it in the past, trying to record it on our own, and I've always wanted to find a project where it fit to sing it. And we actually had it just worked out. We had uh, as we were getting masters and trying to put the EP together to release it on an initial schedule that we were going to release it on. Some of those things fell through. And so we had a few extra months. And I was like, I just felt like we needed one more song to round out the EP. And I've always wanted to record that. And it just seemed like a perfect time to do it. So I'll let Kelsey share why she wrote it, but I've just enjoyed playing that with her over the years. So.
Yeah, I thought it was sweet that he thought of wanting to put it on, and it was really fun to record. And kind of funny too that though I wrote it a long time ago, kind of bringing it back up. It's like, wow, this is really relevant to my heart right now too. It was kind of just a difficult time that I was going through, kind of a dark time where I felt lost and just not myself at all. And so it was interesting because the song just kind of talks about how God uses, he kind of can turn our worlds upside down. And in the moment, I don't like it.
Yeah.
But just going, wow, that's kind of like just his revolution medicine is just kind of what went through my mind of like, the Lord has the medicine we need. And sometimes it doesn't feel easy. It doesn't feel like the way we should learn the lesson. But for me, I think it was just an awakening out of just like, whoa, what am I doing, and what is my life for? And the Lord is always there, though faithful. He is, I think for me, it was just like, he's going to clean me up. He's going to help me through this. He's going to take me out of this darkness and just help me follow him. He's got the truth, and I'm looking for it in other places, and it's not working out. So that's kind of what that song is about, of just like the times that sometimes feel the darkest are the times that God is just wanting to grip our hearts, or my heart, in just a deeper, drastic way that I needed. I kind of needed
Hmm.
like that shaking up. So that's kind of what that song is about.
That's so
Yeah,
awesome.
Kelsey's so good with like picture, putting lyrics to create these pictures. I've always appreciated that. I'm pretty just straightforward and without any mystery, and so I think that song just speaks so beautifully of that. She has written a couple songs throughout the years of I don't know if she's ever even intended this, but for me, um, the idea that God creates a home and like brings us inside to his home, and maybe like we're outside, that is these like wild things that are just in our sin and our pride and our chaos, and God invites us inside. And so the end of that song just says we left it all outside tonight. And I just, as we've sang that over the years, I've always loved just that idea of I'm gonna leave that behind and answer God's call and go inside, to to be with him in his home that he's making for us. And if I could, just one other real quick story about that
Yeah.
song, because it's interesting to me. I'm weird. Maybe nobody else will care, but I really love song production and thinking through parts. And that song, she kind of arranged it even before we knew each other, and with her band back in the day. And as we've played that throughout the years, I've always just kind of sat back and done harmony and a little percussion. Um, and that band, those people that we've played with throughout the years have gone on to different things. And when we had the opportunity to record this, I wanted to really keep that the way that it's been through the years, or at least honor that original production. And I've also always had this dream of recording all the parts, or almost all the parts, myself. And so that was an opportunity. It just worked out. And I kind of forced my way in there to be able to record the drums and the bass and the guitar. And we had a friend do the piano because I can't figure out piano. But it was a really fun time just to be able to have a dream that I've had in the back of my head to record a lot of the parts, and also to be able to keep a lot of the original parts that are friends. And her brother was the drummer back in the day. So to be able to kind of honor those parts musically was really fun, and then update it to kind of how we sound today. So that was a fun song altogether.
That is so cool. Yeah, I'm
nerd out
glad.
about that stuff. So
Hey, I love music too.
Mhm.
That's awesome stuff. Yeah. Thank you guys so much for sharing your story, Kelsey, and for sharing the heart behind this EP. I know it's not always easy to talk about the struggles that we go through, but I know that it will be a help to some people because there's so many people that are struggling out there. And so all of you watching, please, where all music is streamed, go check out No One Knows Me Like You from the Rock Music. And Caleb and Kelsey, thanks so much for chatting with me today. It was such a joy to have you on the show.
No, thanks for having us so much. We enjoyed it.
Yeah, thank you for having us. It's great to meet you.
You too, absolutely. And thank you all at home for watching. And just remember, until next time, to carry on.